before New Year's. I put it what my vision was for both brands for the year. And then I went back to the book and then I saw that for Isa, I put beautiful jewelry store. And then I look at my store and I'm like, it's a beautiful jewelry store.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this is working.
Welcome to Maker's Mindset. I'm your host, Nancy Twine. And in this episode, I'm in conversation with Isabela Rangel Grutman, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and model. Born in Brazil, Isabela began modeling at age 13, and at a very young age, she learned a lot about work ethic and business partnerships. In 2022, she stepped into the world of entrepreneurism and founded Rangel, a premium clothing line now available at major retailers like Revolve and ShopBop. She also founded Isa Grutman Jewelry, a fine jewelry label that just opened its first flagship store in Miami's prestigious design district. Additionally, Isabela serves as vice president of Style Saves, which is a nonprofit organization that helps support underserved children and families through fashion-focused fundraising initiatives. Let's go ahead and jump in. So welcome, Isabela. I'm so excited to be in conversation with you today. It's so crazy because we both live in Miami. We know so many of the same people, but we're finally meeting in person for the first time today. And I've just been admiring all the amazing businesses that you've been building, whether it's your clothing line, your jewelry line. We're going to get into it all today. And we're also going to talk about your nonprofit organization, Style Saves, which it's incredible the work that you all are doing. But before we get started, I want to take it back to the early days of Isabela as a model, because you started modeling at 13. And I want to know how that early experience just shaped your work ethic and your business philosophy.
Yeah, thank you for having me, by the way.
Yes,
so I started modeling when I was 13. And with that, I took modeling as a business. Modeling for me was something very serious. Some people can take it in another way, that they go into, like drugs or partying or whatever it is. But for me, it was something very serious. I always showed up at the right time. I always showed up with my nails clean, hair clean, professional, the most that I could be professional on set and off set, I was. So it was just the way for me to start like businesses and that business mentality as well. And then when I started, I was 13. And then when I was 15, I started traveling overseas. So I went to South Korea, I went to Milan, Paris, and then I started living in South Africa when I was 17.
Wow.
But I was so mature in my mind. I already had a goal where, what I wanted to be and what I wanted to achieve from the modeling world. So I was just pushing myself the most to do it the right way.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I kind of liken it to, kids who are athletes, right? Who have to show up at practice. Yeah. They've got games. It starts to create this discipline at a really young age that I think is so important, to becoming an entrepreneur. And, when we first connected, you said that you always had this business mentality, likely because of your early modeling career. And you feel like you were just built to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And so you started your clothing brand Rangel 2 years ago, and now it's sold at major retailers like Revolve and ShopBop. Yeah. So what was your vision for launching Rangel, and what does that brand mean to you?
So I did fashion design when I was living in South Africa, but I never did anything with it. I was modeling, and then I stopped for a year. I studied, and then I was let me go back to modeling, because I was so crazy on the college that I couldn't work, and then I had to pay for my bills. And so I was let me go back to modeling so I can pay for my things, and then I'll go back to fashion again. But then during COVID, I started making my girls' dresses. So I started cutting and sewing. I would buy the fabrics online and then make my own patterns, measure them and make my own patterns and cut and make dresses for them. So I used to have friends that would be why don't you just open a business? But then for me, it was hard to open a business just based on kids, because I love women's wear. So then the first collections, I did women's wear and kids wear that they all match. So that was my first collection. Then my kids started growing up and they're like, Mommy, we want to wear costumes. We don't want to wear like pretty little flower dresses. So then for me, I'm like, how do I get inspired with that? So now I focus more on women's wear, and I'm very open to like do different collections and things that come my way. But for me, I always want to keep my inspiration very like Brazilian, my travels, very myself. And then for me to be just designing kids wear, it's not really myself anymore.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. So actually on that front, talk to me about just how your Brazilian heritage and just even your own personal style has influenced the designs that you create.
Yeah, so I love to design things that I can wear here in Miami, or I can wear in New York during the summer, or anywhere, because I like staple things that, for example, what I'm wearing now,
which
it's a blazer that you can wear in Miami because it's like a light blazer, but in the same time, I'll take it on the plane and go to London or wherever you are. So I just like to design things that are classics, that is something that's going to elevate your closet, and you're just going to become part of you, and it's not something that's trendy or you're going to get tired of it straight away. It's just something that you're going to bring it to your closet and just elevate your whole look.
I love that so much. And I was talking with a friend, like, I've been pulling back on buying trendy items. Yeah. Like I'm really focused on just buying those timeless staples that I can get long wear out of, that I can mix and match. So I love that so much. And, you know, fashion is a really competitive industry, and it's important to have your own sort of differentiated take on, you know, your approach to your brand. What do you think are the most important things that people need to think about when they're starting a fashion brand today?
For me, I think of quality, because I think nowadays there's not so much quality out there. Yeah. Like people are doing the fast fashion, the things that is like, you can make it quick for cheaper. And then I don't like that. For me, it's better for you to take longer to put a collection out and take your time and develop it properly than to just rush it. And then it's something that people will wear one time and throw it away. So focus on the quality and focus on just being like true to the brand. So something that you look at it and you're like, people that love my brand, they can see and they're like, oh, this is Rangel. This is like who you are. This is what the brand is. So I think that you just like follow what your identity is for the brand and not what everybody else is doing as well.
I love that. So you've been nonstop working on your fashion line, but you didn't stop at that. You just launched your jewelry collection, Isa Grutman Jewelry, a little over a year ago. So what inspired you to launch the jewelry brand, and what does it represent to you?
Yeah, so the clothing, it's something that I feel like it's me for a long time. Like since I'm a little girl, I've been like obsessed with clothes and fashion and everything else. But jewelry, it's a new thing. Since I moved to Miami, actually, my husband started giving me things, and I started going through like my mom's jewelry and just building up layers and layers and layers. And I love to just put a lot of jewelry on. And I feel like a lot of things have memories. A lot of things have like story to it. So that's why I love jewelry. And that's why I wanted to create a brand that women can buy for themselves. They can just like build up their collection. It's also could be like something that you buy it for your friend, and like once she sees it, it's always like, oh, she gave it to me. You know, it's something that's like, it's just passing love. And that's what I love. And I even say to my clients, like when they buy and they love it, I'm like, I hope you have so much love and success, because I feel like jewelry is good energy.
It really is. And I feel like you have some stories to tell with your jewelry right now. Tell me one story of your jewelry.
So I can tell you one. For example, this mom ring here. So my husband's aunt passed away, and she used to wear a ring like that. It's not exactly, but then hers also used to say mom. So I just added diamonds to it, and I elevated the letters.
Beautiful.
And then I gave it to actually her daughter. The first sample, I made it, and then I gave it to her daughter. And she was like so emotional. But I wear it a lot now. And then this one, for example, my mother gave me a little medal that is a Saint Benedict. You know Saint Benedict? It's for protection. So she gave me a little pendant. And I took the pendant and I made it into a ring.
So pretty. I love it so much.
I love things like that and just to build it up,
Yeah. We talked a little bit about sustainability, and sustainability can mean a lot of different things. So can you talk about what it means for your jewelry line, especially when you're creating these timeless but modern pieces?
Yeah, I think it's about also like creating things that is going to go through generations, that is going to pass down. It's never going to be something that you're going to get tired of it and throw it away. You're going to give it to a friend. You're going to keep it for your daughters. You're going to pass it down and down and down. And that's why I love jewelry and I love quality clothes, because that's like, you have to keep evolving. Like, if you have to keep moving the pieces.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I especially like that for me, because if I'm going to make a jewelry purchase, I want to say, well, I'm going to have this forever.
Exactly.
And I'll be able to pass this down to my daughter one day. And it's just, you feel like you're buying something bigger than just the piece. Yeah.
And then for your daughter, it's even going to bring more emotions, because it will be like, oh, that was my mother's. She wore it. She got it because she closed her first contract or whatever it is. And it's just like, everything carries memories and emotions. And that's what I love it.
I love that. And so fashion and jewelry is very similar to the beauty industry that I'm in, because you're dealing with, supply chain and multiple SKUs. You're dealing with retailers. It's a lot, and you definitely can't do it on your own. You need a team.
Yeah.
And I know that your brand is still young, but you're scaling it. Can you talk a little bit about how you think about building your team and what's important to you and the people that work for you?
I think for me right now, it's very important to have people that really believe in the brand and have the passion as well for what they're doing. And it's not just like the paycheck of the week and then they like clock in, clock out. Like, I don't like people like that. For me, they have to show up to work with like passion, and they have to be like, oh, this piece is not selling well. Like, how can we push it? Like, oh, this is the idea. Even if it's not their actual job to do that, and they had an idea, I love that, because it shows that they care about the brand and they want to build it with me. So I think it's just to incorporate people that are hardworking, that they believe in it, and they have that sparkle, that passion.
Totally, especially too when you have a small team, like you can't always be in the office. You're doing a lot of different things, and you want to feel like when you're not there, like the team has got your back, that they treat your baby like their baby too. It's so important.
Exactly.
And obviously building two businesses requires a lot of time. So how do you maintain sort of the focus and vision when you're scaling two companies at once? How do you do that?
It's hard. But the thing is, I feel like I have a very straight vision to each individual. So I always saw Isa with like a retail store. I always saw it like the aesthetic of it. And then Rangel, something else, like sustainable and beautiful. But like Isa is very different than Rangel for my mind. It's hard to explain, but I have very different visions for both of them. It's just like keep pushing my vision and see where it takes it,
Yeah. And how do you memorialize your vision? Like, do you have mood boards? Do you put things on paper? Like, what does that look like for you?
So I have mood boards, and then I also put it on like a notebook.
Okay.
So it's actually funny because I put it like before New Year's, I put it what my vision was for both brands for the year. And then I went back to the book, and then I saw that for Isa, I put beautiful jewelry store. And then I look at my store and I'm like, it's a beautiful jewelry store.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this is working.
We are so similar. So I do the same thing, and I should do it in a notebook because I think there's a lot of power to actually handwriting things, but I type it on my computer, whatever.
And it works. It works too.
But I'm like so intentional, and I actually split out what I want to manifest for my business, for my family, for my health. Like I have like the 5 different categories. And like mid-year, just recently, I was going through the list and I'm like, this is crazy. Like all of these things have happened. And sometimes it's just a matter of like, have the vision, put it out into the world.
For sure.
And things start to just conspire.
I agree 100%. And it's like those moments that it's important for you to just like put it in the universe where you want. And then hopefully you get it. But I need to get more like you, because me, I just put the 2 brands. I need to put the whole rest of the stuff.
Well, it's funny because our mutual friend Kim, she did a vision board.
Yes,
I think you were supposed to be there. I know.
I think I was out of town.
We'll do another one though, but there's a lot of power to it.
I copied though. I invited some friends a week later. I was like, I can't believe I missed this. So I did a whole different one.
It's powerful for sure. We talked a little bit about this too, because I follow you on social media and your life looks pretty glamorous. Like in a lot of ways it is, but I know, that when you're scaling a business, there is very little that's glamorous about it. You have to really roll up your sleeves and put so much of yourself into it. What do you feel like have been some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced scaling your business? And what do you see as like the not so glamorous parts of what you do?
Yeah. So the not so glamorous parts is like the first few collections of Rangel. I had to go through every single piece because even though like I knew the factory was good, I still didn't have that trust to let every piece go through, So I took every piece out, I cut little threads, I'm like going through it and then fold everything back in the bag, tag whatever wasn't tagged. So like there's
and you went through every piece.
I went through every piece for the first few collections because I was like, I don't want to put anything out there that is not my quality standard, because of course there's a factory, there is also a QC that they do it there. But then for me, there's another quality standard that I have to put out. So that kind of stuff. And it's just like every day, there's something to take care of. Like for me, like one day, the sound of the store is not working. The next day, the mirror broke, this broke. And then it's a lot of things that I still have to take care of because I have a small company. So I'm doing a lot of things at all times.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that because so many people are going through that same thing. And I think sometimes people are like, is this just me? Like, am I doing something wrong? And it's like, no, it's just kind of part of that, right? Like when you're small, you have to roll up your sleeves and you have to do a lot of things that aren't always pretty, but the hope is that it builds and you can hire more people and all of that.
And the thing is, like, I've had moments that I'm like, oh God, like this is too hard. But then every time I think this way, something amazing comes out. So like, I get an email from Revolve being like, oh, I want to get the whole collection. Or like someone invites me to do a fashion show with them and it's like amazing. So every time I'm like, I don't know. And then something beautiful comes out. So it's for me, is my message that I have to keep going.
I love that so much. And, on the topic of like manifesting and all of that stuff, I think sometimes the challenges that we faced, it's a test to say, hey, are you really in this? Do you really want this? And then when you actually do it, the universe is like, okay, she's ready for the next thing.
She passed the next step.
Exactly.
It's like a little video game that's like, okay, you get a bonus. Ding, ding.
For sure. I totally believe that. Outside of running your 2 businesses, you're also focused on giving back to the community, specifically underrepresented children and families. And you co-lead an organization called Style Saves. Can you talk to me about what it is and the impact that it has?
Yeah, so I've been working with Style Saves for 9 years now. And when I started, Rachel Russell, she started this nonprofit and she was doing 50 kids. Now we do 15,000 kids in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
So we went and I said to her, I was like, what's your goal? And she's like, oh, there's 10,000 kids that are homeless in Miami and I would like to help them. I'm like, we're going to get there. So every year we do a little bit more. Now we're up to 15,000 in 2 days. And this year we're actually going to do at the Miami Beach Convention Center.
That's huge.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's where Art Basel happens, right?
Exactly.
It's massive.
Exactly. So what we do is in 2 days, we give them uniforms, backpacks, school supplies, everything that they need to go back to school, plus extra clothes. So we say we give them back style. So we have haircuts, we have nails, we have extra clothes, extra shoes, some things for the parents, and then we have bounce houses and activities and a whole bunch of stuff. So that's a big thing in my heart too, because we have so many families every year and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And it's just, I love it so much.
It's incredible too to like, take an industry that you're so passionate about, fashion, and find a way to give back, because so much of fashion too, whether you're a kid or an adult, it's about confidence, right? It's about like how you show up, how you walk into school.
Yeah.
And I think it's so incredible.
Yeah. And one thing we started doing now is manufacturing the uniforms. Because before we used to get donations, and sometimes they'll come with a big logo or things that it's not uniform standard.
Yeah.
So now we manufacture the uniforms, the sneakers, the backpack. So everything is like really cool and beautiful and unisex. So it fits properly, and it's not like, they can't really wear it. When they get to school, they can wear it 100% and very standard.
Wow, it's amazing. It's so great.
Thank you.
And so I want to talk a little bit about support systems and the things that really help you stay motivated to achieve your goals. Obviously, your husband, David Grutman, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's like an amazing restaurateur. And how does he, sort of impact you as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, he's my biggest support system. When you say support system, like his head came in my mind. We work together as well. So I help him with the restaurants and everything. And since day one, he always pays attention to my opinion, to like what I have to say. So then from that, I was like, oh, maybe I have to start trusting myself to do my own things too. So that's how I started being like brave enough to be like, okay, I can do this. And then also I see he struggles every day. He fights with people every day. He has issues every day. There's every day something. It's like, I don't know, a leak in a restaurant, this, that, every day there's something. So when I'm going through stuff and I'm stressed out and I look at him and he's also going through things, I'm like, okay, we can both do it. And then he's very successful and we're pushing each other to be like, okay, this is a normal thing. We'll get there together,
Oh, I love that so much. And now that you're an entrepreneur too, you guys just get it on a different level.
We just get it.
Yeah.
So it's always like, I'm so tired. He's like, I'm so tired. And I'm like, when are we going to get a vacation with it? But he just pushes me a lot and he's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So beyond David's support, what do you do for you to stay in the game, especially as a mom of two? What sort of rituals or practices have you created?
So for me, it's about routine. I love a good routine. I wake up, I have my moment with my kids. So breakfast time, I sit with them, I have my coffee.
And what time are you waking up in the morning?
7 a.m.
Okay.
Like on the dot.
Yeah.
7 a.m. my eyes are open. And then we have coffee together. Then they go to school. So when they go to school, I go to the gym straight away for 30 minutes.
And what do you do in the gym for 30 minutes?
Weights.
Like weights, okay.
I love weights.
Okay, I got to get back into weights. I'm doing
weights.
Lots of incline treadmill, but I love weights too. I have to get back.
That's good too. No, I love weights. So I do like a quick 30 minutes. I don't even talk to my trainer. I don't talk to anybody. I'm like quick. Yeah. And then from there, I shower, have breakfast, and then I go to work.
Wow.
And then by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm at work. And then I stay there until probably like 4 or 5 o'clock. But I'm still on the phone, obviously. But I go back because that's when my kids come back. Okay. And I like to spend the time with them. 6 o'clock is their dinner time. So I like to catch up with the day and see how it's going. And also it's the time that my husband finishes his meetings a little bit. And then between 6 and 7 is like the time, and then we spend family time together.
Oh, I love that. So it's really that 30-minute workout in the morning, and then the family time in the evening.
Those are your. Me balanced, I love that. That's for sure.
And see, I tell people too, you don't have to have like this complicated set of rituals and practices that you do throughout the day. It can be as simple as that.
I would like to like incorporate more things like meditation and this and that. But for me, my brain is already going in so many different ways that like I can do the workout quick and then I need to get to real life.
Totally. So we talked a bit about manifesting and vision boards. What would you say is like the top thing as it relates to like the business and the entrepreneur part of life that you want to manifest next?
Oh, I would love to manifest more great people to work with me. So like more people to come my way that are gonna build the brands with me. I would love to manifest for Rangel maybe a retail store. That would be great as well.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, and just great things for both brands. But I think a great thing would be like more people working alongside me.
Well, we're putting it out there.
Yes.
A lot of people are going to listen to this. So
I
I'm
should
sure
put on my notebook when I get home.
Totally.
Yeah.
You are such a positive person, and you really believe in like having a vision and just making it happen. What's a piece of advice that you would give to someone who maybe is like struggling with believing in themselves and believing that they can turn their idea into a reality?
Yeah, I think it's about like also starting small. I think people's mentality of like, oh, I want to open a business and it's a whole big thing. Like start about like one little thing. Like someone DM'd me the other day saying like, oh, I have a new oil that I want to start putting out there. I'm like, just make one, give it to some friends, see what they think about. Like maybe you start selling on your neighborhood, like start small. You don't need to go full big straight away. And that's what I did with my brands. And I'm scaling them slowly. Like the jewelry is going fast, but that's because the demand was really fast and everything was, and then I got a partner, everything happened really fast. But the clothing, I'm okay with going like, okay, I'm getting Revolve. Okay, now ShopBop. Now, it's going step by step.
Yeah.
And not like huge things straight away.
I love that. And I think that's really good perspective because people on the outside, I'm sure even when they look at what you've built, they're like, oh my gosh, she has this incredible store. She's got ShopBop and Revolve. And that didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
Like you had to build it slowly.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then for a while, even for the clothing, I was like, I'm not ready for it. Also, you have to understand that like I was still checking every single piece of clothing. And then when I was like, okay, I'm ready for wholesale, I was like, okay, now I'm ready. And then I put on my board, it was like wholesale, Revolve. And then it came, and when they came, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this.
And they're such a great retail partner.
Yeah,
we do
great.
business with them too. It's just incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. And if you could think back to your younger self, is there a piece of advice that you would have given your younger self now that you know what you know now?
Maybe you don't have to work too hard. My younger self, she was so like driven and like, oh, I have to work and I have to do this. But I think it's from also my dad always saying to me, I had to be independent. As a woman, you have to be independent. You have to be independent. So when I think of my young self, I was already working at such an early age. So you don't have to work that hard. You could have like relaxed and enjoy your teenager years.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, I like that. I like that. That's really good perspective.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, we're going to pivot into my favorite part, which is 5 fire facts.
Okay.
So it's a rapid fire interview, and it's just a way for our audience to just get to know you in a more candid way.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Go-to workout to clear your mind.
Wait.
Favorite piece from Rangel.
Fernanda Blazer.
Ooh, is that one?
Yes.
I love it. Favorite jewelry item from your line.
Mom ring.
A common misconception about you.
Snobbish.
Really?
I don't know.
You're like the sweetest. No way. Well, you
I don't know.
Social media is always weird, right?
Yeah.
Favorite restaurant in Miami.
That's too hard. You can't do that to me. Can I name a few?
Okay, name a few.
Gecko, Casadona, Komodo, Papisteric, and Swan. Okay.
Is that all?
Yes.
I love
Wait,
Gecko.
did I miss any? No, I think
I love them all.
I think that's it.
Well, this was so fun. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. That was great.
To stay connected with Isabela, the Maker's Mindset community, and me, check out all the details in the episode description below. And check out Spotify or Apple Podcasts to hear a few bonus reflections from me on this episode. And don't forget to subscribe to this series, leave a review, and share with your community. Thanks so much for tuning in.